Fear minia. Long live Ghana, man. Long live the baby, man.
One time. So come get to Jenny Mumpire. So come for we are fire. I'm ready ever to you. Ghana, ready ever to you. Let me free Ghana. The man penny I would can your friend on the plank numa. Yeah, mini sign up when my dear number your mama. I send back up baby na mintia. I am in one. Here on no Naji fan who ye. Yanaraya Sassin ye. I have what they did my Mojana Nanu here. Bunya de to her my head. Room in never go say a baby at once. Can I be a baby? I'm in a way. I'm in a say Ray Obiana wa and any Jana into young physical tons of Fangu from Namo Frayina, come Nayan to Jomon Campo, and say a kind of animal that be so did video some you know, did Gana City, Obia baby, and now to any greedy. I'm a janka bitty baby, and I will go to Korea, and Kobini, India, will never when I was so young. Rene Usima Baku and the Piatos and Kutia can answer what Parliament, Akonako, and I just say, I want to become a power man for Jankan Koya Bawan, and some Master Bibi, a woman from Gosha, some tower, and yes, I'm not Koti Power, when I want to try a bank. When me nyansa sebe nye bana ya kasa kwa meyi ye ya do ni pa uri sumuntie ngana mai mpana heye meyi ya me ni uri ya ngana meyi ya me ni uri ya wonso no bia ne bio meyi ya me ni uri ya ngana meyi ya me ni uri ya wonso.
Hello. Welcome to another edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and you're watching Diaspora Network Television. And chances are you're watching us from very, very far away, because right now we're global. You can reach us from anywhere. You can watch us from anywhere on the planet. If you go to DNT Ghana, you Google us on the mobile app. Whether you're on iOS or Android, you can get us, download our app, and you can watch our shows in real time. Diaspora Network Television, we're dedicated, just like what our name says, we're for the diaspora. And when it comes to the diaspora, we don't even know the difference. As long as you're black, that's all we care about, okay? And so today, that's actually going to be part of, actually the main part of what we talk about today. Relations between black people all over the world. But like always, we have to do the jangle. In today's jangle, I want to just talk to you about something that whenever you tell anybody, it makes sense, but sometimes we don't take the time to think about it. So we've heard of all this Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and racism from the Buckingham Palace and coming at the heels of whatever was going on in the United States with Black Lives Matter movement and everything. Racism is perhaps the biggest thing being talked about right now. But right here on this continent, what's going on with us? All of us look like this, and yet we find a way to hate ourselves. You tell me how that makes sense, okay? Look, I'm going to show you my hand, right? When you look at the inside of my palm, that's pretty much the skin color of white people. And when you look at the back, that's pretty much the skin color of black. There's a clear difference. Look at this. And then look at this. Clear difference. But as black people, we have a problem when these people hate on these people. We say, oh no, you're racist, blah, blah, blah. But then when it comes to amongst us, when all of us look like this, we think it's okay for the Ashanti man to dislike the Fanti guy. We think it's okay for the Kikuyu guy in Kenya to dislike other people. We think in Rwanda it's okay for Tutsis to chop off the hands of Hutus. And we all look like this. And that is justified. But oh no, these folks cannot hate us. Dude, does that make sense? If we are going to complain about this against this, we should get this on this right. And so for today's jungle, if you're black like I am, and you're hating on another black, you just lost your moral authority to complain about racism. Okay? Let's get it together, people. Today, that's the jungle. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, and you'll meet my amazing guests.
Under the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the One District, One Factory Secretariat welcomes you to the 25th Ghana International Trade Fair, the premier virtual edition, under the theme, Developing New Trade Opportunities Through Digital Channels. It will be 1 month of exhibition and enterprise, offering manufacturers, suppliers, consumers, and various service providers the opportunity to network and make sales. This February, over 500 local and international exhibitors, factories featuring companies under 1D1F, Rural Enterprises Program, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and more, all on one virtual platform from the 27th of February to the 28th of March. Get access to a virtual networking lounge, allocation of a virtual booth, and enjoy a unique virtual experience. Visit our website on www.tradefairgh.com to register or call 024-446-9451 or 050-001-5587. Don't miss out.
Hello and welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and I'm joined today by an old friend from H-Town. How is it that two H-Town folks find themselves hanging out again here in Accra? Welcome to my guest, Madam Bridget Taylor-Jackson. Welcome to Diaspora Weekly.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Houston, that's a long way. How did you come?
I flew here, of course.
I know, with the airline, the connecting.
We took British Airways.
Oh, okay.
And there was a direct flight to
London?
London,
Okay.
and then we flew from London to Accra.
Oh, okay. So that's the easy one. Some people fly like 3 times to get here. So how was it? Is this your first time in Accra, Ghana, though?
Very first time stepping foot on the continent of Africa ever.
Did you kiss the ground?
I wanted to. I wanted to. It was it's a very emotional experience, and
what's it feel like? I wouldn't know. When I come back, I just get out of the plane. But for you, I'm curious. What does it feel like when you first set foot there? Here.
Wow. Let me explain, because if I can just illustrate it. You know, back home in the United States, I love my country. I love America. You know, there's lots of opportunity. I know the people. It's home for me. But here, being able to see all of the black faces, not feeling the pressure of being different, or if you are standing out, or if there's negative, you know, energy coming from certain people, you just don't feel it here.
Yeah.
I've had so much love.
And you say you're less stressed since you've been here. How long have you been here now?
Going on 3 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks?
Yeah, we've been here for a while.
Okay, so you just put yourself in trouble.
I did.
You came here 3 weeks and you just reached out to me when?
Okay, well, here's the deal. My sister-in-law is Ghanaian.
Okay.
And so once we stepped foot on the soil, she mapped out an itinerary that was so arduous. I was like, okay, it was back to back.
I can
Every
imagine.
tourist attraction. We saw the Amina Castle.
Okay.
Everything until the day I did have an allergic reaction to a mosquito bite. So this particular week I've been down.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Sorry
but other than that, we've been so busy.
So the feeling you got when you set foot out of the plane, and the feeling you got when you took your first step into Elmina Castle, what's the difference?
Wow. Okay, so when I stepped foot off of the plane and I saw all of the black faces, I think I saw one Caucasian woman. I don't know, it just brought me so much joy. Not that I don't like white people, you know what I mean? I have lots of Caucasian friends that I love dearly. It's just, I've never been in a place where I see black faces on billboards. When I look on TV and the movie stars are black. And when I walk into a room, there's no colorism. You know, most of the people are as dark as I am.
And we take it for granted. Like me, this is where I grew up, so big deal. Everybody's, you know.
And the standard of beauty is different here.
Okay.
You know, all of that, it just changes, and it takes so much pressure off of existing. Because in America, there's so much pressure to exist.
Okay.
You know, find your place in society as a black woman, especially as a dark-skinned black woman. So to be here and no one cares about that I'm dark-skinned, I don't have to worry about that. I don't, you know, I don't have people treating me that I'm less than. I may be more educated. I may even have more money than someone in America, but I still get treated as if I'm less than. That's not the case here.
Wow.
I'm not treated special, and I'm also not.
You blend.
I blend in, and it's a peaceful place to be in.
Wow.
It really is.
So what about Elmina Castle when you first got in there? Did you cry?
No, I did not cry. You know, everybody's like, you're gonna get emotional, the tears are gonna flow. I got angry. And I think that what angered me the most was when I saw the quarters that the women were put in, and then how the governor had his tower where he would look down and pick a woman, and if she refused, they would tie her naked to a ball and a chain and make her sit and starve in a courtyard. It made me angry, you know? It made me want to create a safe space for people that look like me, where we don't have to endure that ever again. So it made me want to work.
So do you think when blacks from across the Atlantic come over to Elmina Castle and they see this and they return to America, would you see white people the same way again?
I personally won't.
Okay.
In America, white supremacy casts a very large shadow. And until you get out of that atmosphere, it's a very toxic atmosphere. So until you get out of that atmosphere and have clarity to think, you don't see it as a large shadow. You see it as oppression. But now when I look at it, you don't have to live in oppression. You really don't. There are other places you can exist and thrive.
Okay. So there is a movement in that direction. Okay. Yeah. Stevie Wonder wants to come down. A whole lot of other stars want to come down for the same reason, that I don't have to live under oppression. But there are those who will say, well, if we all leave, then they've won. That's what they won in the first place. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is based on fear and connection. I mean, we are from America. Our ancestors built America. And I'm not angry at someone who doesn't want to abandon what their ancestors built and fought for. Our freedoms, people died for those freedoms. And so to say that you want to stay and continue to fight, I'm not angry at that person. But I do implore people to open their minds and think on a global level. You don't have to abandon what you have to also take advantage of something else. Just take advantage of an option. Yes. Nobody is saying completely uproot yourself from the United States and come over. Heck, in today's digital world, you can live there and have a business presence here. Or even if you're here, have a business presence there. There are so many ways you can do it. But I think the notion that, I mean, let's face it, we know the history of America, right? Yes. The voyagers, the colonialists went there. And somebody owned that land, right? Yes. What happened to those people? The American Indians. They've been pushed and they're marginalized. Okay. And so they realized after doing that, hey, look, we have a lot of work to do. Let's go to Africa and bring those slaves to come do this work, right? Yes. Let's go to China and have them come lay the railway lines for us, right? So after bringing people from different parts of the world to build it, now the food is cooked. Oh, it's a white country now, so everybody, we're going to make it so bad that you feel like you want to leave here. Haven't they won if we all left? And that's where I'm coming from with that kind of question.
Well, see, I personally, I own land in America. I have businesses in America, and I don't plan on abandoning my businesses in America. And so, but, you know, like I said, it's an opening of the mind. It's a different perspective, a shift in perspective. Global markets are open. The internet has opened up a global market for every type of industry. You know, and so if we shift our perspective to not look at it as if we are abandoning our homeland, but we are adding to what we have, which strengthens us. Building bridges across the Atlantic will only strengthen the Black community.
Absolutely. Yeah. I believe in that. So you got here 3 weeks.
I did.
And you've taken in everything that needs to be taken in. Tell me about some of them.
Okay, wow. First of all, I love the people. You know, the hospitality, the kindness, the genuineness of the people, and how welcoming they are. You know, and there's also, you know, we come from America, so, you know, there's an innocence about the people that I would implore any African American, if you're going to step foot on this soil, that you work to preserve, you know, and the culture, you know, respecting the culture here, how commerce is done. When I saw that most people don't want to participate like in a corporate structure, a lot of people come from villages and sell their goods on the streets. And I thought, oh, these people are poor. And my friend, she corrected me, and I thank her for that. She said, not everyone that's coming from the village is poor. They may have land and cattle. They're just selling goods here, but they go back home and live comfortably in their village. They just may not want the same things that you want.
Yeah, poor is relative.
Poor is relative.
Yeah. And you see, when you think about it like that, that villager that came with tomatoes and everything sold, and let's say even the whole day sales is about equivalent to $100, right? When he gets on that bus and going, today was a good day, and he's happy.
Yeah.
Do you know a lady called Oprah Winfrey?
I think I've heard of Oprah, yeah.
Yeah. If Oprah Winfrey woke up one day and her bank balance was $10 million, I think we will have to put a suicide watch on her. Right?
Yes. There will be some problems, I'm sure.
Some problem. So she will probably think the world is coming to an end. $10 million, that's all I'm worth now? And those villagers that you saw, how about just $1,000? You change their lives forever. So poor is relative. And you find, I'm glad that you picked on it here in Africa. People are content.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? They want more, don't get me wrong. But they're content. Because if you live in America and you're driving an old Beetle in a land where the other cars are all BMs and everything, you feel poor.
Yes.
But if you came to sell goods from the village and you go back and you have $100 in your pocket, you're looking pretty good. So that's what it's all about. But let me ask you, what were there any myths about Africa that got dispelled on this trip?
Wow, yeah. That the countries and the cities were very underdeveloped. You know, and now there are places that are not as developed as they are in the United States. But what I found is different people have different levels, varying degrees of success to them. You know, whereas in America, we're all, there's a lot of envy. There's a lot of competition. So if I put up a 100 feet building, I need to put up a 200 feet building. And I think that's what drives progress in America is what's the word I'm looking for? Covetousness. You know, that is a lot, that's the biggest thing behind progress in America. Here, these people say, well, I have my little cement building here, and I'm actually okay with that. You know, I'm actually okay with not having all of the amenities that you have. So progress is on varying levels based on the individual.
Right.
You know, so it's not so much that it's not developed, it's just that people develop to the point that they're comfortable.
Well, are you surprised when you see someone who is, by American standards, very, very poor? I mean, you look at the clothes they're wearing, like, oh my goodness, this person probably worried about the food, where they're going to get their dinner tonight. But then that person has the widest smile on the face. Yeah. Does that surprise you? Do you see that in America?
No. Most of the poor in America are very angry. You know, they feel disenfranchised, and I don't know if that's necessarily because they're poor or because of, you know.
In the land of the rich, I mean, affluence is all over you. Yes. So if you're poor, or relatively poor, it hits home.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. So now you're here, right? From Houston, from H-Town. We can talk about Houston all day long, but the first thing that I want to do, which I usually start with before we get, is knowing you.
Okay.
Who is Bridget? Bridget Taylor Jackson.
Well, I'm kind of like a jack of all trades, I guess, because I like to kind of keep my finger in a lot of different industries. I started out as a young woman as a singer and a songwriter, and that's how I met you, through Ada Edwards, of course. I would sing at the city functions.
Ada Edwards, oh my goodness. Yes. How is she?
She's doing fine, yes. She's retired, yeah. And so...
when next time I come to Houston, I am seeing her. Ada Edwards, brilliant human being.
Brilliant woman. I learned a lot from her.
Wow.
And so I now currently, you know, I make investments. Real estate, you know, buying and flipping land and some stocks and things like that. That's how I survive financially. Well,
when you start talking about flipping land, stocks, and you're soon going to be my new best friend, because DNT needs investors. But yeah, so you're a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
And you've lived in Houston pretty much all your life?
Pretty much all my life, yeah.
Okay. And now Africa is looking good. And why Ghana?
Ghana, because, like I said, my sister-in-law is from Ghana, and I wanted to go somewhere where I knew someone. Okay. You know, where I would feel safe. Okay. You know, I didn't want to go to Africa my first time just on my own, you know, and it's a new place. So, in Ghana, and Accra is one of the more developed cities, you know, and so my dad and I, who was here with me, he wanted to visit South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Ethiopia. So each year we're gonna take a trip to each one of these cities, and just check them out. But Accra is where I would like to invest. Oh, okay. You know.
How do you make such a decision without seeing the rest of them, the other countries?
I'm not saying I won't invest there.
Okay.
But I'm making this decision because of the connections. Okay. You know, if I am going to start somewhere, I want to be mentored. I want to know how the city operates, and I have those connections here, so that's why I would invest.
So you had connections here before you got here.
Yes.
So lucky you. You could have come on your own. But Daddy here did not want his love daughter to go to a new land without coming to protect. I can see that. I'm a father of girls. So.
He's never been And
Okay.
it was sort of like something, a milestone in his life as well.
Is it like a pilgrimage? Is there a pilgrimage aspect of this trip?
That is the main reason we're here.
Really?
All the other things are secondary because, you know, I'm a businesswoman. So, of course, I'm always looking to expand my streams of income. But mostly it was for the peace of mind of seeing the homeland and stepping foot on it.
Okay.
You know? So it was a pilgrimage. We went to the Elmina Castle, like you said, and we want to visit Cape Coast as well before we leave. So it is a pilgrimage.
Yeah. And I've heard people say that African Americans come to the motherland and they return changed for the rest of their lives. Do you see that happening to you?
Yes.
What kind of change is that?
Well, for me, I no longer see that I'm trapped.
Okay.
And I feel now that I know, because it's one thing to speculate. You know, you're like, well, there's opportunity in Africa. We should all go, you know. It's one thing to speculate, but it's one thing to step foot and see that, wait a minute, there is opportunity here. And the door is open. What are we waiting for? You know, what are we doing?
So what do you say to Africans that you know back in the States who are looking for everything to be right before they come?
Well, you know, I can't speak on that because I waited until my finances were right before I came.
Okay.
So I didn't want to come here and not get the best of the experience.
Yeah.
So, you know, my dad and I, we waited until we were financially in a place to take a month-long trip.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah, we're going on a break in the next 30 seconds or so. But I want you to touch on this. When you're talking, when I meant everything is right, there are two components of it.
Okay.
There's a component of I am financially ready, and then, but we Africans in the diaspora would like to wait till the roads need to be fixed before we come, or the lights need to be on, the corruption has to be stopped. That's what I'm talking about. You've been here, you've seen some of those things.
Yes.
Why are those things not inhibiting you? Why are those things not stopping you? You still want to come anyway?
Because I'm a builder.
Ah, wow.
And I don't have a problem starting from scratch.
Scratch, okay.
You know, and I think there are a lot of people like me. There are some people who need everything to be laid out before they go a place or before they take a job. I'm not that type of person. I will start a company from scratch. And so I'm willing to roll my sleeves up. And I believe that Americans, Black Americans, we are well-educated people and we have the expertise in every area of industry to come here and give that information or infuse that information into this society. So I would say to them, don't wait until someone else has done it. You know, you have the information, you come do it.
You know what? I've done these interviews many, many times. I've never had the most perfect response to a question. I asked Bridget Taylor Jackson, why is it that with all these problems in Ghana, the roads are not like United States, there's corruption, there's this and this and that. Why are those things not stopping you? Guess what her answer is? Because I'm a builder. Madam Builder, we're going to break and we'll come back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a new look? Makes you feel real good, that refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Ain't gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you flow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized feel different. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and I'm joined by Bridget Taylor Jackson. I'm going to add another name to your three names. Builder. You're a builder. So now my next question is, what are you going to build in Ghana?
Wow. Well, you know, I'm on a reconnaissance mission, sort of.
Okay.
You know, I'm seeing what's here.
Okay.
And I'm praying for inspiration as I'm here. You know, I've seen a couple of beachfront properties that seem very, you know, tempting and interesting. I'm like, I'm really looking into those. But, you know, mostly I really just want to learn what's here, what the culture is, and how I can be of service first.
Okay.
You know, I think it's arrogant to go a place and say, I think this should happen and this should happen and that should happen. You know, I think coming here multiple times, spending time with the families and understanding the culture and the politics, which is very important, I think that will help me figure out how I can be a help or service and how I can benefit financially, you know.
Okay. So is it going to be better to do multiple I mean, you work for yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay. So will multiple trips do it for you, or an extended stay one of those times? In other words, yeah, multiple, come in, look at 3 weeks and then go back, and then come in another 2 weeks and go back. Or dedicate 3 months coming in. Which one do you think will give you the best opportunity of knowing all those things, the culture, the politics, and all those things?
I think for me, multiple trips, because you know, I do have projects back home that I have to check
So you
on.
can't be gone for too long.
Not at first.
Not now.
Not at first, you know. But once we decide to make a move on something, you know, we've even talked about ideas. Once something is solid, then I will definitely come for an extended stay to make sure and to see it through.
Okay.
You know, once I can get my affairs in order.
Okay.
Back in the
So
US.
what industry are you looking at? Or shall I say, what industry were you in before? I know you were a singer and songwriter, but in terms of business, you said you were flipping property. Is that your main background? Or
well, that's just how I make my money right now.
Okay.
It was getting into that was very unexpected.
Okay.
So I will continue that even if I was to come here.
Okay.
And, you know, my true love is entertainment, you know, so I definitely want to, you know, bridge the gap between, you know, Black Americans and Africans in the entertainment field. I definitely, like I said, want to get into the real estate and property and owning land and building, and just whatever. I'm about making money. So if it's a sound investment,
okay,
I'm into it.
So you mentioned that you're into the entertainment and everything, and you're looking to bridge it. Remember Lion King 2 came, and there was a collaboration between, oh God, I can't believe I've forgotten our Houston girl. What's her name? This oh God, Beyonce. How can I forget?
You can't be talking about Beyonce. Yes.
Wait, there was a collaboration between Beyonce and Shatawale here in Ghana. Did you see it?
Yes,
did you hear it? So what do you think of
Yes.
that collaboration?
I love it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at NPR, they're featuring, they're in the middle of an African artist's exhibit.
Okay.
And so they're partnering a lot of Black American artists with African artists on these NPR concerts.
Okay.
And so there's a movement right now to bridge the two lands across the pond. So I think continuing in that vein will be beneficial.
So maybe you're setting up a studio here. Recording studio?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
All right. So what's been the experience of, I know you've talked about the people and everything, but, and you also said you're on a reconnaissance mission. What have you found in the business arena?
Ooh. What I have found is it's segmented. You know, and you really have to know someone to get into a business segment here. It's not really open like that. And also, it seems like most of the businesses here do a lot of business abroad. It's not necessarily here in the city. The way the commerce works, there's the people's commerce, and then there's big corporations, and they're pretty much separate. You know,
The middle is very small.
the middle is very small.
Yeah.
And so unless you're in big oil, big tech, you know, big industries, you know, I just recently found out that the chocolate here is a big commodity.
Oh my goodness, you had to remind me. Now I'm gonna get me a chocolate after this show.
We have some on the way.
Yeah, have you tried the golden tree? Which one did you get? The golden?
Which one was the candy bar, Dad, that you got?
What color was it?
It was brown and gold.
Brown and gold, okay.
Yeah.
So it must have been. This one over here, we have we're the second exporter of cocoa
Yes.
behind Cote d'Ivoire. And so the cocoa, and oh, there's a difference. In Ivory Coast, they use generated heat to dry the cocoa beans. But in Ghana, you know, when you go in the rural areas, they dry out the beans in the open sun. And I'm told that it has an impact in the eventual taste of the cocoa.
Yeah.
So now, Ghana's cocoa, in terms of taste and quality, I'm told by industry experts that Cote d'Ivoire may be the largest exporter of cocoa, but our cocoa is tastier. Are we looking at chocolate factory?
Could be. Could be. I was also told there's a manufacturing plant that is completely abandoned, you know, in the city of Accra because, you know, they couldn't get the people to want to make their goods inside of the manufacturing plant, you know, and that's the kind of opportunity I'm talking about. There are things here. We just.
When you were on the plane, you came on with BA, right?
Yes.
When you looked at just a rough estimate, the passengers, blacks and non-blacks, what proportion would you give?
It may have been about 78 black, and then the rest other races. Yeah.
All right, very good. So 78% black, 22 non-blacks. I've been on flights where it was almost 50-50. Actually, depending on where you're coming from. If you're coming from, let's say, Dubai or Turkey, the flights are different. But again, others see the opportunity and they're flocking in, but we don't. Why? Why do you think African Americans, Africans in the diaspora, we're there, we're making the money, we're excelling, and I'm actually particularly proud about what blacks are doing outside the continent. What do you think it's going to take to bring it all back home? If not physically, even virtually, just bring it home. Why is it so difficult?
You know, as I said earlier, white supremacy casts a very large shadow. And until you have the means to step from under it, you know, you can't, it just kind of clouds your judgment. It overshadows anything you want to see. You know, like, you know, with Black Lives Matter and the kids being shot down in the streets, that's all we can see right now. We know that Africa is over here, but we're like, we have so many problems back home, we can't even see past that. But I encourage African Americans and diaspora from all over the planet to look above it. You know, that's a distraction, actually. When you look at this planet, we have more black-skinned people on the planet than any other race of people.
Together, yes, as a unit.
As a unit.
Yes,
And
because I think we were working the numbers, 1.3, almost 1.4 billion on the continent, and another 200 million outside the continent. So that's about 1.6 billion. Chinese are about 1.4 billion. Indians 1.3.
Yeah.
So, like you said, in terms of a monolithic group, we're the largest, but we're so fragmented. And so, I mean, we're going to talk about this in the next segment. But from a business perspective, what are you going to tell folks like your friends back home about the opportunities that you saw here?
Well, okay, so since I've been here, I've been, buying and posting on my social media, and I've had so many requests. Can you buy me a purse? Can you buy me some shoes? Can you buy me some waist beads? And
Waist beads?
The the waist beads they sell.
Did you know about it? Did you know about it before you got here?
I'd heard about it. I don't know the story behind it, though.
Okay. I don't either.
Okay, I was like, is there something I should know?
No.
Okay. But no, so when I'm posting, as you can see, I've done a lot of shopping. So when I post the items that I'm acquiring, so many people are saying, hey, include me. And that's what I think needs to happen. When people saw the year of return and they saw their celebrities coming here and visiting the Elmina Castle, it sparked something. Now groups of people are planning these large groups. We're going to go to Ghana in 2022. We're going to go to Ghana in this for the, to commemorate the year of return. They may not have gone when it started, but it started something.
Right now,
and I think exposure and education is what's needed.
Okay. All right. So this time, I think the sequel to the Year of Return is called Beyond the Return.
Wow.
That's going to delve more into the investment and the settlement and everything. And when you start to look into all that, then you're also going to have to look into your stay here. Whether, how you live and work here. Have you thought about those? Because I know when I get to America, the first thing I'm thinking of is green card and then maybe citizenship and everything. In terms of stay here, have you looked into what it would take to stay here from the residency standpoint and citizenship?
Well, I know that there's an offer for dual citizenship.
Okay.
Here for the diaspora. So that's one thing that would cover that aspect. I am compiling information right now to see if it's even possible, to own land if you're not from here. That's very important.
Okay.
I know there's the water situation. There's a lot of things that we would have to overcome to stay here. So I don't have all the facts now. So, but as we continue to make visits,
that's part of the reconnaissance mission.
Yes, it is.
Very good. There's a group here called the African American Association of Ghana. Have you heard of them?
I haven't. No.
Okay, I'll put you in touch with them. And for those who are watching, when you're coming down, there are two places you really need to know. One is Diaspora Network Television. Call us, reach out to us, and we will make you feel at home. And then as an African American, we call them AAAG, African American Association of Ghana. Huge, very close-knit community. And after the show, I'll get you in touch with them.
Thank you.
And so, closing in on Mission in Ghana, how long do you think it's going to take for you to make a decision?
Well, I think
as to what to do and,
What to do? It depends on the relationships I leave with.
Okay.
I've formed quite a few relationships, healthy relationships, and I know pretty much the amount of money I would need to be comfortable because that's important, And so when I go back home, I'll look at my resources and see what's available to start the process of back and forth.
Is there any chance that your dad wants to go to all these other countries? Is there any chance that your initial love for Ghana can be replaced by another country?
I will never say never. But because
if you go to Kenya and like, oh my goodness, forget Ghana. Yes.
The beaches in Kenya are beautiful. I did look at that, and but like I said, it's the family connection.
The family connection.
The family connection makes a huge difference.
All right, very good. So it seemed like before we go to any next segment, you have the word that takes us there. Last time before we went on a break, you said the builder. That really struck me. And now you talk about a family. All right, we're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we're talking about a family, but not the traditional family, not the immediate family. We're talking about black people around the world. Stay tuned. This is Diaspora Weekly. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly. I'm joined by Bridget Taylor Jackson from Houston. And she didn't come alone. She came with Daddy. Daddy is called Henry Lawrence Taylor.
Right.
Also a Houstonian. Consummate Houstonian. That's where you've been all your life.
74 years of it.
Wow. Welcome, Daddy. So this is the first time that Bridget came to Africa, and you said, oh, no, you're not going alone. I'm going to tag along. If anyone tries anything funny, I'm going to show him how I used to do it. We used to back in the 40s, right? Was that a thinking?
She did a little arm twisting.
She did what?
A little arm twisting.
Oh, she did some arm twisting.
Yes.
Oh.
I made him come with me.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad I came.
Oh, you're glad I came. So, Daddy, what have you found so far since you've been here?
I found all little stuff we've been knowing for 70-something years been a lie.
Ah, wow.
You know.
Yes.
I mean, all that stuff you used to get and everything. I got all these pictures. I can't wait to get back to show some of these people.
Some of the people.
They was making fun of me when I told them I was going.
Really?
Yeah.
What are some of the things they said when he said,
man, you going to bring one of them naked women back, huh? I said, man, stop. But you know, I do a lot of reading, so I knew better. But a lot of them actually think this.
Wow.
Yes.
And these are your, and see, I can see that because your generation is not very versed in the social media, so you probably don't see what's going on. You probably, the things that you need.
Don't.
All right. Wow. So what else? Did you find any of the naked women?
Oh, no. I knew better than that off the top.
Okay.
I told her, man, no, ain't nothing like that over there. But I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised. It's much built up just about like Houston.
Right.
A few other little things that's missing, but hey,
yeah.
I was shocked when I went to the mall. I don't get shocked very easy.
Really?
When I went to the mall and the grocery store, I wasn't expecting to see that.
Oh, really? Okay.
See, you know, I still hang on to some of them old
so now
lies they've been telling.
How many of your friends are you going to bring with you next time you come?
I ain't bringing none of them for the simple reason. It costs too much money for me to come. It costs us money to get here, man. And most of them, this old beer drinking party, they
don't want to.
They don't. You don't have your own money. I'm gonna have to leave you back there.
There you go. There you go.
I heard y'all talking about so many that want to come. Half of them can't come anyway because they don't have the funds.
Okay.
It costs money to come over here.
Right. But if they had the funds, do you think they still, are they going to believe you when you tell them what you saw?
Well, I'm not known for lying, so, you know.
Yeah. And you got pictures to prove it.
I got pictures to prove it.
So, Bridget, you had to twist your daddy's arm to come with you.
He is so much of a homebody.
Okay.
And, you know, I was like, Dad, when are we ever going to get this opportunity? Talking about Africa was the one thing that connected us when I was young.
Okay.
You know, my dad and I were like daylight and dark. I'm so outgoing, he's very shy.
Okay.
You know, so coming up.
Quit saying I'm shy.
You are shy, Daddy. And so the thing that used to unite us was he was always talking about African history to me. And so I joined lots of clubs growing up, you know, I always would do research so that I would have content to talk to him about.
Right.
So I'm like, we've been talking about this stuff for years. Why don't we go?
Yeah.
But she got me into the extreme African history before the Europeans. I've always stopped at that.
Okay. Okay.
But I've learned so much because man,
right.
You need to go all the way back to the Moors, the Egyptians, and they said, Africa got a lot of history prior to the Europeans. I never thought about it like that, but I say, boy, since I've been reading it, I say, man.
Right. So what do you think about this segment where you're going to talk about the differences in black people. You have African Americans, you have the Caribbeans, you have Africans, you have the Brazilians, what they call them, and those in Netherlands. You got some blacks in Australia. We're spread all over the world, and we see each other differently. And for some of us, that's the biggest problem. Because
that is the problem.
To be honest with you, when I see Bridget, if she doesn't open her mouth to speak with an American accent, I could care less where she's from. What do you think it would take for us to put it together as black people?
Some people, but they're not going to ever get it. Let's just put it like that.
Okay.
But you know, it's going to be have to be a lot of education in the schools and things, because they don't teach even American history. They don't teach about slavery in the textbooks. If somebody at home or somebody didn't tell you, these black kids would grow up not even knowing about that.
Wow.
Not so much not knowing, just how vicious it was.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference between being a slave and just the brutalization of that.
Right.
Because it was brutal.
Yeah. So you know enough about the slavery era where the rape of, you know, the African woman on the plantation, and you came here, Elmina Castle, and you saw what you just described, the women and the pastors or whoever they are will call them. Is there a difference? It looks like the same way they treated us in Elmina Castle is how they treated us in the plantation.
Yeah, they sure did. Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So I mean, again, it comes down to how do we put it together as a people to unite. The key word is unite. You say we're not going to get it, but do you think we will get it?
I most definitely think we're going to get it.
What's it going to take?
A movement.
Okay.
You know, and a serious, dedicated movement of education. And, you know, back in, I think it was 2013, the chiefs were calling for the diaspora to come back. And that word wasn't widely spread. I had to dig to find that information. I found out that there were diplomats who came from Africa to the American government to share that information with black Americans, but that information was never disseminated. You know what I mean? And so you think about it, you know, we would have to purposely take up the mantle to spread the education. If you look at social media, the generations under us, they are fighting hard for their blackness. They're fighting hard for their culture, their unity, and those are the minds that we need to ignite and inform about the opportunities, because those are the ones that are going to take advantage of it.
It's interesting that you say, when it comes to black people uniting, you're expressing optimism, but you are pretty much from the standpoint that it's not going to happen. Could the backgrounds be playing a role here?
It could very well be. I mean, you know.
What have you seen in the past that gives you less hope that we will?
Well, you listen to so many of them talk. You know, some of them over there done really brought the Kool-Aid. I'm talking about black people, especially the older one. Man, I'm not going over there. Why not?
Can you ever educate them?
Can I? Well, I be trying all the time anyway, you know, so.
Okay.
But you know, if you don't want to confine and dandy, but that's not going to change
But
my
you think
mind.
they're set in their ways, and at that age, they're pretty much giving up, right? But the young have hope.
The young have hope.
Yeah,
Okay.
they got to do it. As usual, the young are always, they do the in the street thing and all the young.
But you see, we hear this thing about to know where you're going, you have to know where you're coming from.
Oh, yes.
And you just said that they don't teach the details, the atrocities of the slave trade, the slavery in the books. So if your generation has given up, and the youngsters are not going to learn it in the books, but they want to get to a certain place, what history are they taking with them to educate them on that trip to that future?
That's a tough one. I really don't know how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I really just don't know. I heard
Okay.
you mention earlier about how you gonna get those other Africans and African Americans in the diaspora to come home. They really don't need to come home, but what they need to, just like those Europeans and those white folks, those people are proud of themselves. They are proud of America. They are proud. We just got to get these Africans, the ones that the left or the African American, to be proud of Africa.
Yeah.
If they can just become, I'm black, I'm of African ancestry, that'll start that ball rolling.
Right, right. And you mentioned, you used the word trapped. Okay. If African Americans or Africans in the diaspora feel like they're trapped, but then now we open the floodgates with year of return and beyond the return, they say, now we have an option. Is that what it's going to take? Do you think that's really the turning point?
I think the turning point is I'm calling for Africa to make serious, I don't want to say concessions, but just create deliberate opportunities specifically for the diaspora. And then those opportunities can be marketed.
It cannot be lip service.
It cannot be lip service. It has to be real, comprehensive plans to help integrate us into the African societies.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be only Ghana, because Ghana is a small country. You look at this vast continent.
Yeah.
You know, if whatever it is that's happening in Ghana, you can bet you can find examples of it all over the continent.
Yeah.
And so those are brothers and sisters in the diaspora, not just in America, in the Caribbean, South America, and all those people. We really needs to get it done. And sometimes I get frustrated. It seems like we've been talking about it for ages.
Because if you don't get it done, we're going to always stay on the bottom.
That's it.
Always.
That's
See,
it.
those people working hard to keep us down for whatever reason, I don't know. But it's something they hiding, they don't want us to know, and they just go out their way to keep us down. Why?
Okay.
But one thing I do know, and I've noticed, whenever they open that door and give us a shot, you know, we always excel. We wind up
tell me about
sports, whatever.
Tell me about it.
They open that door.
Tell me about it.
Black folks just take over. Maybe that's what they know.
Yeah.
They
What's your favorite team? Football.
Cowboys.
Oh no,
Shame
no,
to
no!
say.
Please get him out of my studio, please.
Shame to say.
Wait, you live in Houston and you're a Cowboys fan?
I've been a cow. You know how I became a Cowboy fan?
Great story.
The Cowboys and it used to be the Houston Oilers before
That's
the Texans.
right. With Warren Moon and all.
They came into the league the same year in 1960. But what drew me to the Cowboys, they was loaded with black players. The Houston Texans had basically all white players.
Houston Oilers at the time.
At that,
But they gave the first black quarterback in the league, Warren Moon, a chance.
Yeah.
So
and
anyway, I know when guys
Sports
get
talk.
together, we get sports, we leave you out.
I'm so used to it.
but that's why I became a Cowboy fan. I've been a Cowboy fan, but I'm with Jerry Jones. I'm kind of fading on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's close this up. So far, your takeaways from Africa. Let's start with you, young lady.
My takeaways. First of all, the people are lovely. I love that, and there is a lot of opportunity.
Okay.
You know, when we met years ago, and I think we met with the ambassador for Ghana, and it was in Houston.
Right.
And they were very open. They said, "Hey, if you come here, as long as you start with agriculture, you know, I can help you, you know, with start your business. I can help you in certain territories." It's like they want us to come, so we need to come and find out what is here. So that's my takeaway. There's opportunity here. We need to check it out. And
when you go, what specific things that are you going to do to advance whatever it is that you've picked up here?
First thing I'm going to do is keep the conversations open.
Okay.
And now that I know how much capital I need, I'll be
Okay.
working towards that.
Okay. need a lot of that capital.
Yes, you do.
Daddy, what's your takeaway?
Oh, the people is just kind.
People are kind.
Oh, man. I never thought, well, you know, I'm so used to hearing them Nigerian. For some strange reason, them Nigerians have a problem with African American.
We're
I
talking
don't-
about that.
I don't know what the problem is,
Yeah.
but they be calling them some kind of crazy name, Akata or some kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
They have a real problem with Black Americans.
Okay.
I don't even want to go to
Right,
Nigeria for
right.
that.
And I will say this. There are, okay, if we're talking about two groups,
Yeah.
African Americans, Africans. And for me, the Pan-Africanism in me prevents me from differentiating Ghana, Nigeria, this. I just put all of us in one group.
Well,
Okay.
Same way
Now,
with me.
in the African American group, you have those who are ignorant, who look at Africans a certain way.
yeah, oh, that's a
like,
lot of
y'all
that.
sold us as slaves. We don't like you. But there's that group, right? And then over here in the African group, there's the ignorant group that also do the same thing that you.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to the rest of us
Yeah.
to educate our kind within our specific group, because we have no choice.
Yeah.
We're one people. I'll believe that till I die.
Yeah.
And if we don't do it, we see differences in us, like I said in my opening in the jungle. How does it make sense for me to come to, think about the Nigerian that you talk about, I come to America, oh, I cut out this and then when a white man is doing the same thing to you, then you have a problem.
Right.
I don't even know how that makes sense.
But, you know, one good thing come out of slavery for me.
Okay,
We don't see tribe. All I see a black dude.
there you go.
Hey, brother,
go.
what's up?
There
I
you
don't.
go. That's it.
To me, I don't see
That's
tribe.
it. It's a brother.
I just see a black brother,
That's it.
a black sister.
That's it.
So that's the one good thing, if you could say a good thing came out of that.
Yes.
They took all that away from us.
Yeah.
And when I see you, I don't see you no
See a
different. I
brother.
see some black brother walking down the street and
You made a heck of a point. I think we're going to close with this. Think about it. When the slave ships left, clearly there were people on that ship that were some from Ghana, some from here, some from
Cameroon.
But when they got to the new land, all that went away. We saw a sister and we saw a brother. That's
That
all.
was it.
If we can do that moving forward, just imagine, if we can see a sister instead of African American, if we can see a brother instead of a Nigerian, I think we have it.
And that's the way I see it. I'm straight up truthful on that.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't see you no different than I see my black buddies on the street
There you
in
go.
Houston.
There you go.
Yeah.
I see the same thing.
I
Of course, you got ignorant people everywhere.
Of course,
like
yeah,
you say.
yeah. There's always going to. Anyway, we're wrapping up. The ignorant thing, I'm going to teach you a proverb, an African proverb. It says, "Ephebia mensawum." Okay, say Ephebia.
Aphibia.
Ephebia
Ephibia.
mensa
Mesa.
wum.
Womu.
Ephebia mensawum. That's basically saying in every family, in every household, you're going to have that bad nut. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Aha. So now when we get on the air, I'll teach you how to say it properly. Ephebia mensawum. So yes, you're going to find in every group, you're going to find the ignorant.
You're gonna
It is
always
up to us
find a
to teach
nutcase,
the
as
rest
I
of
say.
them, so that when we look at a male, I'm seeing a brother, I'm seeing a sister. I want to thank you for joining me. This was an impromptu invitation,
It
and you
was.
honored it. I so appreciate you. And Daddy, great talking to you. All right? This has been a brilliant edition of Diaspora Weekly. I've enjoyed every bit of it. And this is Diaspora Network Television. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah. I was joined by Bridget Taylor Jackson and her dad, Henry Lawrence Taylor. Very good. Stay tuned for other programs, but be sure to drink specialized water. Great stuff. We'll see you again.
Good job.